This is Prince Handley coming to you today with 100,000 watts of pure love. On the last podcast, I promised to discuss with you in detail the 5 specific signs that Yeshua said would precede and accompany the worst events the world has ever known. The worst since the flood of Noah. These signs are as follows. Number 1, false messiahs and false prophets. Number 2, wars and ethnic groups fighting other ethnic groups. Number 3, famines. Number 4, diseases. Number 5, earthquakes. Let's discuss the first one, false messiahs and false prophets. The purpose of a false prophet is to draw attention away from Yeshua HaMashiach. There are many false prophets who have been used by Satan or Satan in the past centuries. The Apostle John, writing in the Brit Hadashah, the New Testament of the Bible, said that the spirit of anti-Messiah was already in the world in the first century. These same demons operate through false prophets today who claim to be prophets of God. In the final days of planet Earth, there will be one who is energized by Satan, the false prophet that will draw people to worship the coming world leader. This world leader will be chosen by the 10-nation union that will form from either the European Union or the Confederacy of Arab Nations or a combination of either. Many Muslim groups and self-proclaimed prophets try to repackage Yeshua's prophecies and signs which were given by the Messiah 700 years before the false religion of Islam was started by the false prophet Muhammad. They do this to assert that the non-entity false god named Allah is judging people. This is a tactic of Satan to draw people's attention away from the signs of the end times and the soon return of Messiah Yeshua, or Jesus. Many will also claim to be the Messiah, but don't be fooled. The Messiah will not be here or there or in the desert as a teacher. When Messiah comes the second time, he will appear quickly as lightning, unannounced, and as a thief in the night, unexpected. Make sure you know Messiah Jesus, Yeshua HaMashiach, Mashiach ben David. Make sure you're ready. Pray and invite him into your life now. Pray to the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Abram, Yitzhak, Yaakov, and ask him to reveal to you whether Mashiach ben David, Messiah, the son of David, Yeshua, is really your Messiah. Then do what he tells you. I want to talk to you now about wars and ethnic groups fighting. It's estimated that 180 million people have been killed in wars and fighting during the last century, the 20th century just passed. This is larger than any other century in history. About 1 out of 22 deaths, or 4 to 5% in the 20th century, have been caused by other people. These are deaths caused by political violence, terrorist bombings, executions, starvation among refugees, hard labor in prison camps, and battlefield casualties. Biological terrorism and warfare is more likely to be used and more threatening than conventional warfare. Their detection and prohibition is next to impossible. The agents are easy to obtain on the market and are inexpensive. From 10 to 17 nations now either produce or have biological weapons capabilities. Today we're not fighting state nations as we used to. We're fighting individuals. We're fighting crazies. We're fighting people like Islamic fundamentalists, people who have no regard for women and children, who many are afraid to go into battle themselves but will strap women and children with explosives. Government actions to prevent are minimally funded and supported. The only protection is by speaking or declaring the blood of Messiah over you, your family, and your household. Yeshua, Jesus, is God's lamb sacrificed during Passover 2,000 years ago. The first Passover in Egypt was a picture of the Messiah, the real Passover lamb. Now let me talk to you in detail about famines. Famine is not only the failure of food production, but also the failure of marketing systems to distribute the food. Wars, diseases, and earthquakes can all contribute to both types of failure. People in increasing numbers lose access to food. Excessive numbers of people die as a result of famine. Also, many people die after the worst of the crisis as infectious disease resulting from reduced food intake continues. Famine covers more than food shortage and excessive food prices. It also causes a major recession in the economy, which in turn affects employment and income. Bioterrorism could at first be a greater threat against agriculture than against citizens, but with the end result of famine. In times of famine, smuggling, stealing, and black market crime increase. People are forced to sell their key assets, jewelry, animals, land. Wives are evicted and children sold. People leave their land, their homes, their communities. Death is the result of famine, but breakdown of society is the byproduct. Let me talk to you about diseases. Biological warfare is the deliberate spreading of disease among humans, animals, and plants. Primary agents of bioweapons produce many diseases that are hard to diagnose. They rarely occur naturally and often appear like other diseases. A dirty bomb uses conventional explosives to spread radioactive material. Such a weapon is known as a radiological dispersion device. A dirty bomb may or may not kill many people, but can create fear, panic, and huge financial losses. For example, a dirty bomb in New York could result in a loss of trillions of dollars. The dirty bomb threat is real. Economic fallout and panic will cause chaos. Cleanup cost will be astronomical. The radiological materials have to be removed as they cannot be washed or blown away. Residents, fearing radiation exposure, will flee cities attacked and businesses will not want to reopen. For those local people who do not die, long-term effects will be disastrous. In weeks after an attack, their immune systems will decline because radiation kills bone marrow. On the long term, there will be a higher risk of cancer. Plus, cases of leukemia will crop up within 2 years. Biological diseases resulting from biowarfare, plus natural diseases such as AIDS, STD, Ebola, E. coli, smallpox, and other new diseases can easily wipe out masses of the population. Diseases, regardless of origin, are just one of the signs of the final days. Every day in Africa, more than 5,000 people die of AIDS. 27 million Africans are infected with HIV. By 2010, if unchecked, more than 13,000 Africans will die each day from AIDS. Due to globalization and immigration, AIDS will soon affect every major city on planet Earth. AIDS has killed more people than World War I, World War II, the Korean War, Vietnam, and the Gulf War combined. What's worse, new data shows it's just getting started. In many parts of Africa, up to 50% of hospital beds are occupied by HIV/AIDS patients. Now let me discuss with you in detail earthquakes. It is estimated that several million earthquakes occur each year. Many hit remote areas or have small magnitude and go undetected. About 20,000 earthquakes are located each year, about 50 each day. About 18 major earthquakes on a 7 to 7.9 on the Richter scale happen, and one great earthquake, 8.0 or above on the Richter scale, are expected each year. The October 8, 2005 earthquake in Pakistan killed over 79,000 people in Pakistan and more than 1,300 on the Indian side of divided Kashmir. There is an earthquake coming that will be bigger and more destructive than the world has ever known. One earthquake will level 1/10 of the city of Jerusalem, leaving 7,000 people dead. Also, in the final days of planet Earth, a great earthquake of magnitude unprecedented in human history will split a great seaport city into 3 sections, and cities around the world will fall in heaps of rubble. This seaport city, which will be destroyed, will be a future center of Muslim economy and of Islamic ideology. Read the Bible. Get ready now, because the Messiah of Israel is coming back soon. So I kept my word with you, and I discussed in detail the 5 specific signs that Yeshua said would precede and accompany the worst events the world has ever known. The worst since Noah's flood. Again, these signs that we discussed today are: number 1, false messiahs and false prophets; number 2, wars and ethnic groups fighting other ethnic groups; number 3, famines; number 4, diseases; and number 5, earthquakes. Watch, because Yeshua is getting ready to come back to establish his kingdom on earth. Baruch haba b'Shem Adonai. This is Prince Handley coming to you with 100,000 watts of pure love. Baruch haba b'Shem Adonai.